and welcome to the first match of the second half of the first round of the Women's Tournament of Glory, and the first one to come out is Nessa, the former Women's Champion, multi-time Women's Champion. And she's looking to get an opportunity to get challenged for that title once again for the first time in feels like forever. But first, she has to get through Maya, somebody who's been making a pretty decent name for herself as of late. And Maya is looking to break through that and make the lower card ceiling that she's been stuck in for some time now. And Maya wants the opportunity for the Women's Championship as well, just as much as Nessa does. But Nessa is determined to challenge for the Women's Championship again. But she wants to be at the top of this division like she was before, when she was in that feud with Rainbow Dash when this company first started. So both these women know what's on the line, and both these women are determined to win this tournament and get that opportunity. And here comes Maya. Definitely somebody who has a lot of crowd support, that's for sure. And she's very popular with a lot of people in the crowd and in the backstage area. And she wants to win this tournament really freaking badly. But she's going to have to go through another veteran who's been doing this for quite a while. And before we put the two rosters together, Nessa was one of the top diva women in this company. So Maya, you have a huge task ahead of you. And yes, I'm aware I almost said divas a second ago. They can nag me about it in the comments. And Nessa's starting with kicks to Maya, and Maya just sends her in the ropes. And now Maya with a headlock on Nessa, who reverses into a Russian leg sweep. And now Nessa picking Maya back up into the headlock again. Face buster there, sort of. Now Nessa picking up Maya, with a go behind on Maya and flips her over. And now Maya with a punch to the back of Nessa there into a headlock of her own. And now Maya with a suplex to Nessa. And now Nessa tried to go for something, but Maya with a go behind sends her in the corner. Kick to Nessa there in the corner. Now Maya just shoving her foot against Nessa's face repeatedly. Now Maya picking Nessa back up. Sends her into the ropes again. Watch out, ref. Wow, that was a body slam there. Nessa by Maya. And I loved how the ref was just casually walking out of the way when he was watching what was going on. And Nessa picking Maya back up. Now calling every tie between these two women. Sean's going to be happy about that somewhere. Shout out to CIW. Arm drag by Nessa to Maya. Go behind by Maya on Nessa. And Nessa with a reversal and a shot to the back. And now Nessa with a suplex to Maya again. Now Nessa picking Maya back up. And now Nessa with a punch and a kick, and blocking that punch there from Maya's Nessa into the headlock. And Nessa with just a slap to the face of Maya. Another slap, knocking her in the ropes. Sends her to the outside. And now Nessa, the suplex of Maya, bringing her back into the ring the hard way. The knee to the back of Maya there by Nessa as well. And Maya just punches her off. Clothesline there, Nessa by Maya, knocking her down. And Nessa blocks that punch, misses a kick, and Maya with a shot is back at Nessa again, into the headlock, into the armbar, in a headlock again. And Nessa shoves her off. That was a bit of a botch there. And Nessa with just a slap to the face, in the armbar by Maya, into the headlock again. And Maya with another suplex. Knee drop there, whatever the hell that was by Maya there to Nessa. And now she's picking Nessa back up. Uppercut. And kick to make section Maya. And just more kicks by Nessa. And a roundhouse that knocks her down. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. Russian leg sweep by Nessa. Again. And Maya just punching her off again. And Nessa with the Hurricanrana, which I think she was trying to go for that earlier. And another Hurricanrana by Nessa to Maya there. And Maya just shoves her off. And they ran into each other there. Again, I think Nessa tried to go for another Hurricanrana, but she botched it again. And Nessa with an elbow to the back of the head of Maya there. And Nessa with a sit-out powerbomb. And Nessa dragging Maya away from the ropes. And Maya with a kip-up. Clothesline knocking down Nessa. And another one. Misses the clothesline, does Nessa there. Into the power slam. Or body slam, what is it? And now Maya just stomping away at every one of Nessa's limbs. And a stomp to the face for good measure. Going for cover. 1, 2, and Nessa kicks out. First cover attempt of the match. And the face lock cutter by Maya there to Nessa. Now Maya is dragging Nessa away from the ropes. Going for a cover is Maya. 1. Only 1 count. She took forever. Go behind by Maya and Nessa into the armbar. And Nessa, with the knee to the midsection of Maya, whiffs the kick. And Maya sends her into an uppercut. And another knee drop. Or elbow drop, 1 or 2. And another one to Nessa there by Maya. Now Maya, I don't know what she's trying to go there, but Nessa with a punch and a go behind the Maya there. And Maya reverses, and the ref was just running around like crazy. And Nessa with another punch and headlock than Maya there. Sends her into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Shout out to Roderick Strong. And Nessa springboard, which she nailed, surprisingly. And now Nessa setting up for the super kick. Thinking she's very dangerous when it comes to using these super kicks. And Nessa nails a super kick to Maya there. Won her the championship a while back. Now Nessa going for a cover on Maya. 1, 2, and Maya kicks out at 2. Punch to the face. Nessa just repeated punches, a kick and an uppercut. And the backbreaker by Maya there to Nessa. And Nessa just shoves her off. And Maya just blocking a Hurricane Run attempt and gets shoved off again. Can't able to tie up between these two again. And Maya with a headlock on Nessa. And Nessa trips her up. Luther is pressed by Maya and just punching her repeatedly in the face is Maya. Now Maya dragging Nessa away from the ropes. And Nessa with a kip up. And Maya was like, nope, you're not doing that. And she just repeatedly punching her in the face after Luther's press again. When Nessa tried to go for a comeback. And now drags away from the ropes again. And Maya just stomping away. And Nessa's everything once again. And a stomp to the face for good measure again. Going for a cover is Maya. 1, 2. And Maya gets the win off of that stomp. Maya just stomping Nessa's face in. Twice. And Maya gets the win off of that. Just freaking crazy, man. Maya moves on in the Tournament of Glory for the women's division. And I wish whoever wins the next match luck, because they're going to have to face Maya. And Maya is determined, because she just beat yet another veteran in this company. Somebody who was on the main roster and was one of the first ever champions that we had. 1 second. Next match is Spider-Gwen taking on Ruby Rose. That's definitely going to be an interesting match, that's for sure. And this next match is Ruby Rose taking on Spider-Gwen. And I'm expecting a lot of freaking springboards, and I'm expecting like fast pace and just a craziness happening in this match because Spider-Gwen, obviously because she's a spider person, and she's very fat, quick, and agile. And Ruby, well, have you seen her semblance? She literally can fly around and turn into a thing of petals and just be flying around like crazy. And when she was actually allowed to use Crescent Rose, her huntsman weapon that turns into a sniper rifle, when she's not using its scythe form, that thing freaking allows it to launch through the air like crazy, and it'll go like Mach 4 if she launches herself in the correct way. Especially if you've seen freaking her trailer, the red trailer. She was flying around like crazy with that thing. And here comes the former New Gen Queen of Wolves champion, Ruby Mother Effin' Rose. Somebody we haven't seen in a while. And she's hoping to win this tournament to get back to where she was early on in New Gen's history. She defeated She-Hulk to win that championship, by the way, I believe. And then Ruby held it for a while, and then she lost it to Urza. We know how that turned out. Urza losing that title to Julia Sterling. But, now Ruby's hoping to redeem herself and hopefully get an opportunity to the championship. And make her sister and the rest of her teammates and her uncle, and potentially making certain other people proud of her. She managed to win this tournament, even though they already probably are, but either way, who the hell knows. And let's get this probably going to be filled with flippy shits match underway between these two. And Ruby immediately was slapping Gwen, just botching, missing the chop kick. And then calling up a tap between the two. Go behind by Ruby on Spider-Gwen. And Spider-Gwen with an arm drag to Ruby. And Gwen sending Ruby into the ropes. Arm drag by Spider-Gwen to Ruby. And the knees to the face. And Ruby with a hurricane around the Gwen there, almost sending her in the turnbuckle. And Ruby with the suplex to Spider-Gwen there. Drop kick by Ruby there to Gwen. Calling elbow tap again between these two ladies. Hard to believe these two are like not even out of their teens yet when you think about it. In their respective universes. Suplex by Ruby there, Spider-Gwen. Going for a cover is Ruby. Not even a 1 count. Too early for that, Ruby. Kick the midsection of Gwen there by Ruby. And Gwen with a headlock on Ruby. Into the, almost like a flatliner. More like a chin breaker, kinda. Headlock by Spider-Gwen on Ruby. Punches her down. Spinning leg drop there by Spider-Gwen to Ruby. And now just putting the stomps to her. Kick to the face of Ruby there by Spider-Gwen. And now just stomping at her again. And now Spider-Gwen, standing shooting star press there, whatever the hell that was, but Spider-Gwen and Ruby. 1, 2, and Ruby kicks out. Armbar by Spider-Gwen and Ruby. Knee to the midsection of Gwen there by Ruby. And the tilt-a-whirl Hurricane Rana there, Spider-Gwen by Ruby. And Ruby picking Spider-Gwen up. Another Hurricane Rana there by Ruby. And Ruby picking Gwen back up again. And another one. Just takes her down again with that Hurricane Rana. Kick midsection of Gwen there by Ruby. And Gwen with a go behind on Ruby Rose into the headlock. Elbow to the face. And Ruby blocks that kick into the dragon screw. Now Ruby with a knee to the face. And the Shining Wizard. With Spider-Gwen there. And now Ruby going for cover. 1, 2. And Ruby gets the win off that Shining Wizard. Which I believe she calls the Crescent Rose. Of whatever the hell she calls it. Either way. But Ruby with the win over Spider-Gwen there with the Crescent Rose, Shining Wizard. And Ruby is that much closer to getting a world title opportunity for the first time in forever. Off that big win over Spider-Gwen. And there was definitely plenty of freaking Hurricane Ranas, that's for sure. The next match is Urza Scarlet taking on Storm. We haven't seen Storm in a while. I know she's got a new X-Men movie something like that coming out because they teased it recently. And I'm pretty sure she's probably going to be in the new Avengers Doomsday movie later on in the year when the X-Men show up. I'd be surprised if she wasn't. Either way. Congrats on the win, Ruby. Lord knows you need it because you haven't been around in quite some time. And this next match is Urza Scarlet, another former New Gen champion, taking on Storm from the X-Men, like I said before. And Storm has a huge task ahead of her because ever since Urza got screwed over by Juliet Sterling a while back, Urza's been pissed, more so than usual. And she's been wanting to get another opportunity to being the top woman in this company again. And that was back even when we still had the New Gen roster and main roster, women's divisions as separate divisions. But now they're one single division, and Urza really wants to be at the top of this division. She was one of the most dominant women's champions in New Gen when New Gen had its own women's championship. Like I said, she got screwed over big time by Juliet Sterling a while back. And Urza, like I said, she wants to be champion again. And Storm, I wish you luck. Especially since we haven't seen you in forever. So, Storm, I wish we can really have my doubts that you're going to win this match. Because Urza is not the kind of girl you want to fuck with. This might not be her most powerful form, but Urza is definitely a tough one to beat when she's using this outfit. I would not underestimate Storm, though, if I was Urza. She might not have the best track record, but Storm could pull a live wire and pull a win out of her butt somehow. But who the hell knows? All I know is that this match is definitely going to be interesting. Whoever in this match is going to be facing either Zarina King or Silk Spectre in the next round, depending on who wins that match. And here comes Storm, one of the female members of the X-Men. Like the only female in the X-Men in our version of the group. That's mostly because we don't have anybody else from the X-Men besides who we have. There's Wolverine on the main roster, Gambit, Beast, Colossus, and Storm on New Gen. That was considering how some of the things that are going on right now behind the scenes, but who the hell knows if they're going to be around for very long. This match is definitely going to be interesting, yeah, that's for sure. And let's get this match underway between these two women. And Urza immediately with a kick and a punch to Storm and a headlock. And now Urza sending Storm into a power slam there. Now Urza with a headlock on Storm again, and Storm trips her up. And Storm just kicks and just repeated punches Urza there, but she blocks out and misses the clothesline. And chop blocked by Storm there to Urza. Now Storm with an armbar on Urza in the go behind, and Urza flips her over. Misses the elbow drop there somewhat. Now Storm with a go behind on Urza again. Into the suplex. Springboard crossbody by Storm there to Urza. Urza with a neck breaker to Storm. Now just stomping away at her. And Storm with an arm drag to Urza, reversing over, trying to go for there. And the clothesline takes her down. And there's a kick and a punch there by Storm and Urza in the headlock. Into the body slam. Into the knee drop. Storm picking up Urza. Punch to the face, knocks her down again. Now Storm with another headlock on Urza. And Urza with an elbow to the face of Storm, knocking her down. And Storm with just repeated punches to Urza there. And that one dazed her. And Urza with an elbow to the face of Storm. Kicked the midsection of Storm there by Urza. And off the ropes is Urza, and the running drop kick to the face. Now drags away from the ropes is Urza. And Storm's back up. Well, sort of. Now Urza with a go behind on Storm. Urza sending her in the corner. Elbow drop to the back of Storm there by Urza. And Storm blocks that kick and trips her up. And now Storm just punching the hell out of Urza in the face. And Storm is delivering more punches to the face of Urza there. And now Urza's back up. And Urza blocks that kick from Storm. Nails her with a clothesline again. Front flip kick, which she actually nailed. And an elbow drop to the chest. And now Urza with a headlock on Storm. Into the body slam of her own. Springboard by Urza, which she missed. Elbow drop to the back into her lower leg of Urza by Storm. Punch knocks her down by Storm. Storm going for cover on Urza, not even a 1 count. Gonna take a lot more than that, Storm. And Urza blocks that kick into the dragon screw. And Urza with an elbow drop in the chest to Storm. And now Urza picking Storm back up into the fireman's carry. Reverse attitude adjustment much there. And Urza with an enziguri to Storm. Now Urza going for cover. 1, 2, and Storm kicks out. Now Urza going for the fairy tale driver. And Urza nails the fairy tale driver to Storm. Rolls over, going for cover. 1, 2, and Storm kicks out of the fairy tale driver somehow. Go behind by Urza on Storm. And slap in the back of the head of Storm there by Urza. That's disrespectful. Into the headlock. And Storm with an elbow to the face. Oh god, Storm. Springboard, which she barely got her with. Dazed Urza though, at least. Urza slams her arm against the ring. Elbow drop to the chest of Storm again by Urza. And Storm blocks that kick. And now Storm going for the Eye of the Storm pedigree. And she nails it. And Storm drags away from the ropes. Going for a cover of Storm. 1, and only 1 count because she took forever. And just kicks her out of midair to Storm. Kicked the leg of Urza there by Storm as well. And Urza with a kip up. She's pissed. And Storm with an armbar on Urza. And a shot to the arm of Urza there by Storm. In the headlock. And Urza sending Storm into the ropes. Oh, well, the corner, you know what I mean. And Storm puts Urza on the corner. Clothesline knocks her down. And now Storm stomped to the arm of Urza there. And Storm dragging Urza away from the ropes. And Storm going for cover. One. Only a 1 count. And now Storm will go behind on Urza into the Russian leg sweep. And now Storm rolling Urza over, going for a camel clutch. Make her humble! Make her tap! Ask her! And Urza trying to make it to the ropes. And Storm lets her have a submission for some reason. And Storm has to punch the face of Urza there. And Urza with an armbar and a back fist. Shout out to Katie Kingston there. And Urza going to the outside. Springboard, which she nailed. And now Urza dragging Storm away from the ropes. And Urza going for a cover. 1, 2. And Storm kicks out again. And Storm blocking the drop kick and nails an elbow drop. And Storm going for another Eye of the Storm pedigree. And she nails it. And Storm going for a cover. 1, 2. And Storm gets the upset win over Urza somehow. I'm genuinely amazed Storm managed to pull that win out of her butt. It took 2 pedigrees, but Storm, with probably the biggest win in her career as a wrestler, Storm is moving on in the Tournament of Glory for the women's division after somehow beating a former New Japan champion. And the final match of this first round of this tournament is Zarina King taking on Silk Spectre. I wish you luck with that, Silk Spectre. That's all I'm going to say. There's a reason why Zarina has been the women's champion in AOT2 for as long as she has. Because she is tough. And if Silk Spectre somehow manages to win that match, that would just be huge, that's for sure. And this final match is opening round of the Women's Tournament of Glory. It's the main event of this video. Zarina King, the AOT2 Women's Champion, takes on Silk Spectre. And Zarina is also a former Women's Champion of this roster as well. And she's also the previous Women's Internet Champion until she lost that title Applejack at Final Hunt 3. Which is still crazy when you think about it. That was Applejack's first ever singles title. Zarina held that title for a while after she defeated Black Canary for it. Especially after all that crap that she went through with Tifa. And now Zarina is hoping to get an opportunity at the Women's Championship once again, but she has to win this tournament. And she's quite capable of doing so. And I wish Silk Spectre luck trying to win this match. Because Zarina is one of the toughest and most feared women in this roster and in AOT2, which is why she's been AOT2 Women's Champion for as long as she has been. And here comes the former Mag Nation Women's Champion, Mother effing Silk Spectre. Somebody who was a legend in this business. And she's a pretty popular character, and a famous character from the Watchmen series. Same with Rorschach. Definitely be interesting to see how well Silk Spectre stands up to a former women's champion in this company, and a current champion in AOT2. Which I recently just uploaded a video recently on AOT2 Wrestling on that YouTube channel. I appreciate if you went and showed some support for that video. After you watch this, obviously. But either way. This is going to be one hell of a main event, that's going to be for sure. One of these two is facing Storm in the next round. And let's get this final match of the first round of the Tournament of Glory for the Women's Division on the way. And a con elbow tap between two to start off. Shawn McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. In the headlock by Zarina. Suplex by Zarina there with Silk Spectre. Just a slap and a flurry of kicks there by Zarina. And Silk Spectre to go behind on Zarina into the headlock. Elbow to the face. And Silk Spectre with headlock on Zarina and the uppercut. After that upset win by Storm over Urza, I would give Silk Spectre a 50-50 chance to win this match, but who the hell knows? That arm drag, though, Silk Spectre definitely is showing she's quite capable of potentially winning this match. And Zarina with a heel kick. Silk Spectre there. And Silk Spectre with a go behind on Zarina. Into the neck breaker. Into the other neck breaker. And there's Silk Spectre another chop at chest of Zarina there. Sends her into the corner again. misses the drop kick in the corner. And Zarina with a bulldog, the Silk Spectre there. And now Zarina with a headlock at Silk Spectre. Sends her into the corner. Now sends her in the opposite corner of the ring. Watch out, ref. Knees the face of Silk Spectre there by Zarina. And Zarina with a headlock on Silk Spectre again. And the Russian leg sweep. And now Silk Spectre turns Zarina around. Sends her in the corner. And now Silk Spectre sends her in the opposite corner of the ring. And Zarina blocking whenever she tries to go for there, puts her in the corner. Knees the face of Silk Spectre there by Zarina. And Zarina with an armbar on Silk Spectre. And just punches her down. Knee drop there by Zarina, Silk Spectre. And a shot to the back. And elbow the face of Zarina and the chin breaker by Silk Spectre. Now Silk Spectre picking Zarina back up. Sends her in the ropes. Arm drag by Silk Spectre. Zarina the king there. Stomps away at her a pair of times. Electric chair in the Hurricane Rana. And now stomps away at her some more. And Zarina reverses away with Silk Spectre trying to go for the hand. A shot to the back. And Silk Spectre flips her over, reversing her. She tried to go for there. And an elbow drop. And Zarina with an armbar. And Silk Spectre reverses into a headlock. Arm drag again by Silk Spectre. Headlock by Silk Spectre and Zarina. It reverses into a drop toe hold. These two know each other very well. And now Zarina sending Silk Spectre into the knee in midsection. Now Zarina picking up Silk Spectre again. Now sends her into the ropes. And Zarina with that patented king neck breaker, which she borrowed from CM Punk. And now Zarina with a go behind on Silk Spectre, who reverses into an arm drag again. And they ran into each other there. Collar nibble tie between the two again. Sean McCarthy's going to be happy somewhere. And now Zarina with a headlock on Silk Spectre. Into that suplex she used at the beginning of the match. Now stomping away at her. And now Zarina with a suplex on Silk Spectre. And now kick in the midsection Silk Spectre again. Just more kicks by Zarina. And Silk Spectre blocks that one. And enziguri by Zarina. Now Zarina picking Silk Spectre back up. Whiffs that slap. Kick the midsection. And just more kicks. And now Zarina sets her on the top rope. Twisting neck breaker from the top rope. The Silk Spectre there by Zarina. And another kick to the back is Silk Spectre by Zarina as well. Now Zarina with a CM Punk clothesline, which her brother sometimes use. Now Zarina just stomp at Silk Spectre there and catches her with that neck breaker that kings like to use a lot. And now another kick to the back of Silk Spectre by Zarina. Loves using these kicks. And another one. Now Zarina picking Silk Spectre back up, and Silk Spectre blocks that kick and nails her with a dragon screw. And now Silk Spectre sending Zarina into the ropes. Watch out, ref. Arm drag again. And elbow drop to the chest of Zarina. And now Silk Spectre picking Zarina back up into the armbar. Back fist. And a kick to the leg of Zarina there by Silk Spectre. Now Silk Spectre picking Zarina back up into the go behind. And Zarina reverses her with an arm drag of her own. And a DDT by Zarina to Silk Spectre there. And now stomping away at her some more. And another shot in the back of Silk Spectre by Zarina. And a kick in midsection again. And a headlock by Silk Spectre into the go behind. And slamming against the knee and a neck breaker by Silk Spectre there, Zarina. And now Silk Spectre with another elbow drop is Zarina. Springboard by Silk Spectre, which she nailed. And now Zarina's back up. And now Silk Spectre headlock on Zarina into the armbar, into the go behind. And Zarina with an elbow and a chin breaker once again. And now Zarina picking her back up. And now Zarina, final notice flatliner. Shout out to Xavier's King by Zarina. One, only a one count there. Pfft, that's amazing. And now Zarina going for the King's Clash. She might have kicked that one out of the flatliner, but she's not doing it out of this. And Zarina nails the King's Clash. Going for a cover. 1, 2, and Silk Spectre kicked out there. And that was a questionable camera shot there, by the way. And Zarina with an arm behind Silk Spectre nails the enziguri. And now Serena just repeated kicks to the face of Silk Spectre. And Silk Spectre with a kip up, just no selling those kicks in the headlock. Clothesline knocks her down. And another shoulder tackle. Misses the clothesline to Serena. Powerbomb, whatever the hell that was, by Silk Spectre. And now Silk Spectre with an enziguri to Serena. And now Silk Spectre dragging Serena away from the ropes. Going for a cover. Only have one count there. And Serena dodged away with Silk Spectre, trying to go for the shot to the back. Misses the kick there. Bulldog by Silk Spectre to Serena. And an elbow drop to the back. And now Silk Spectre picking Serena back up. And Serena blackmailed, but she had to go for there. Elbow to the face. And Serena going for another King's Clash. She might have kicked out of the first one. But she ain't kicking out of this one. Going for a cover again. 1, 2. And Serena moves on to the tournament with that second King's Clash. Silk Spectre definitely put up one hell of a fight, but Serena is determined to win this whole damn thing. Even if it takes her multiple King's Clashes. But Serena with a big win over Silk Spectre. And she moves on in this tournament and will face Storm in the next round. And if you like this video, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Peace! And the next video will be the next round of the men's tournament, which is the second round. Round of 8. And then the semifinals. I'll see you guys later.